say to you? It's good.
Check this out. Check your business out, man. Alright, so we got him here. The myth, the legend.
Hey, I didn't know we was rolling. What's happening?
Yeah, so we just gonna get into it and chop it up. We're going to get into this. We're here with Kenneth Aytch.
Hey, full government.
Yes.
Don't forget the junior.
Right, junior.
Because
Kenneth Aytch Jr.
the creditors, they come after us without that junior.
Right.
Wrap that up.
Right. So, so pretty much, I've known him my whole life, and you know, I reached out to him because he's been doing business for a long time. Since I'm a little older than him, since he was a kid, and you know, he's always inspired me, and I just feel like he was the perfect person to interview right now in the middle of this pandemic and with all this stuff going on. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go into my pocket and pull out these questions that I got here.
Before you get the questions out, the guy is fibbing a little bit because it all started with his mom. Like, we ain't know nothing about business. Even my family, like, they dibbled and dabbled in the music industry. They did their little DJ thing. They had a little... But the first person we all knew that had legitimate business was his mom.
I appreciate that.
And that's where it all started from. So the belief for anybody in our generation to think that we can have our own business, we can run something, we can rent some facilities, we can do this, we can do that, came from Mama Duke. So that's where that came from.
Coming from the 104.
Yeah, 10473. Yeah. So that's where that all started. And then anybody that I know from that area, they can tell the same story. It's always the same testaments, the same history. So that started from there, and then everything else spiraled after college.
So, with that being said, that obviously that's where I get my drive to want to talk about business and where I get my business savvy from.
Right.
So, okay, what high school and what college did you attend? Let's go there.
I went to Cardinal Hayes.
Okay.
Graduated in '99. Left there. Went to Felicia, my first school, to go play basketball. I didn't know nothing. I tell everybody the story all the time. I knew nothing about D1, D2, D3.
Okay.
We was playing in the streets. We grew up, me, Bossy B, T-Lo.
Right.
We grew up playing together over in the Bay, Castle Hill,
right,
all on that side of town. So I went to school over there. Got accepted into the sponsorship program. I didn't have to pay, thank God. A little $30 a month. Back then, that was it. So I went there. I went to Felicia to play. I actually walked on, got a little partial scholarship, and got in a bus accident. Right. So I hurt my knee, and the school started acting funny. So I'm like, you know what? This ain't really college anyway. It was a real small school. And I transferred out, went up to Mount St. Mary, and I graduated from there up in Newburgh, New York.
Right. I went and visited you up
there.
Yeah.
That's what we were shaking it up, finishing it up.
Party time, DJ.
Yeah, that's when the kind of sort of the business really happened. That's when it twisted a little bit because it went from basketball and a whole bunch of hoop dreams and blah.
So that goes into the first question. Well, the second question that I have for you. What age did you decide to go into business, and what was your first business venture?
Well, it had to be 21.
Okay.
And it was DJ.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't take it serious. You know, when their moms had the places and Sadie's went into the party promo business.
Right.
As a teenager, they was hiring Joe Rock to DJ. So I was running around with him. He was DJing, but then when we got to college, and like I said, all of my uncles were DJs. Then I was with Joe Rock.
Okay.
And I never wanted to do it. I happened to do a birthday party one time for my boy's 21st birthday up at the school.
Okay.
And the response I got was like, it was really, really well. And I'm like, yo, I dig this. Like, I dig the reaction I was getting from the people. Making people happy. People were dancing. They were feeling the vibe like over. And I'm like, damn, I really like.
I could do this.
And it just took off from there. We turned around. We started DJing up at a club, at the school. And that was me, Mike, and Joe Rock. And everything was like split 3 different ways, whether he DJ'd, I DJ, however and that's where the business started to come in attack. Like, how do we make this bread? Even though it was $80 we were splitting.
Right.
How do we split that up evenly?
Right.
How do we keep something to go buy equipment? And that was the first thing that split out.
But that's where you got the hunger.
Right. I went from doing 80 at a club. Mind you, the first day I went to the club to DJ for my man's birthday, they was making $15 a week.
Wow.
From that week, 3 years later, every Thursday they was making over $3,000 a week. That's when they tried to sell me the club my senior year.
Wow, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember.
They tried to sell it to me my senior year, and but that's where the hunger came from. Seeing that coming from nothing. I mean, we seen nothing back at home, but I'm seeing somebody I have no idea who these guys are. Two gay guys at that. They were doing this business up there at the school. There's Louis and Jose, and the name of the club was Ludros. And I'm like, damn, they're not getting no money. It's quiet around here. Then we brought the whole school out. And I'm talking, my school's majority white.
Listen.
The whole spot.
Some people don't even realize how lucrative college can be.
Oh, no.
That's where the money is at.
That's where the money's at.
That's where you learn. Like, you might be going there to go to class, but the lessons that you learn in school is a whole different animal. Yeah. So for all you kids that are out there that are saying, that are graduating high school and saying, I don't want to go away to college, go away to college. That's where you really gonna find yourself and find your niche.
I tell kids all the time. I just had a conversation. Somebody had me talking to some guy. He's like 20 years old, and he went to Monroe College, did a semester or 2, and he dropped out. So I'm vibing with him. I'm like, listen, college ain't for everybody. One, but I said, well, you messed up is you ain't go away. I said, because everything you're looking for out of life, you want the biddies, you want the chicks, you want the money. You want to hang out. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. That's all college.
Freedom.
It's freedom.
Right.
And you get to find yourself to figure it. What it does for you is it buys you time. That's what I tell kids all the time.
And that's and generally that's what life is basically about.
Right.
Finding yourself and creating freedom.
Right.
That's what business is all about.
Right.
People don't even realize that. Like once you begin to tap into your freedom, now you're going to a whole nother place. And that's what business creates. You don't have to have a steady 9 to 5 or 8 to 4. You can create pockets and angles on where you want to go and how you want to manipulate your time. You can't do that if you have a regular job. I was just talking to my cameraman about living off the land. And business and living off the land is so similar in so many ways that you wouldn't even realize that they both coexist. So, okay, so for you, you started off, your first business was party promoting, DJing,
pretty much,
and going into that. How many businesses do you have exactly right now?
Legitimately outside of hustles,
yes,
I got 3.
Okay.
So I have the non-for-profit, which is Aytch, anything you think can happen.
Okay.
501c3. Then I have these 2 Baby Lounge Daycares, 2 centers.
Okay.
And then I have the clothing company.
Okay.
Which was a management company, but we wound up, after we stopped with all the music management, we went straight into the clothing.
Okay.
So those 3 is what I call the legit. On top of that, there's so much other things that I do, like the logos and the graphic art stuff. Those are hobbies that still make money. Those still pay bills when I need it. I just had somebody a half hour ago, hey, you still do logos? I need something. I'm starting a clothing line, I'm starting a jacket line.
Because once you build a reputation,
right, it doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't go anywhere.
It's there. Like I tell people all the time, if I ever go broke, I know it was something wrong with me. Like that's on me.
Right.
There's no way on God's green earth with everything I've learned, I can go broke. Like when I started the clothing line, I started it pretty much for free. I went to the dude.
So talk about that. How did you decide to want to go into the clothing business? Because I remember when you started that, and I always wanted to ask you that.
It came from the artist. So we had the artist, and the artist wasn't really, like they were young. They was 19, 18, and I think one of them was 21. Okay. So in order to try to market the artist, I'm like, well, anything you try to market usually acquires merch attached to it. Right. So I'm like, listen, what they were doing, the name of the company was Get Right and Get Left.
Right, I remember that. Right.
So we shortened it to Groggle, which was Grogl. Right. And when they were rhyming, they kept saying Groggle me. And people was like catching on, like, wait, are they saying Google me? I'm like, nah, they're saying Groggle me. Wow. So we took that and I was like, listen, we're going to spin that into a clothing line for y'all. Anytime anybody asks me, well, what's Groggle me? I'm going to spin it into the artist. Well, these are the artists we managed. That didn't last long because they were too young and they didn't get it. So with the whole music thing, They fell. I kept the merch line, and we just kept that pushing.
And never look back.
And then, we're not gonna stop that.
So you don't know, like, sometimes you don't know where your blessings is gonna come in.
At all. You have no clue. But you just gotta stay with, like, there's something in everything.
Right.
You know, I could have easily said, all right, the artists are gone. We're not gonna do the music no more. Skip the merch. Let's let the merch go.
So, because I know you, I know that you're a strong believer in no drugs,
right?
No drinking,
right?
How does that make a person a better business person?
Money. It's a habit. You buying weed, you're spending $200 a week to get high.
Right.
You're getting drunk. You're going to the club or you're going to a lounge, and you're spending $150 a night to drink and to buy chicks drinks and to do all that stuff. Like it's money and it's time. All that stuff is time consuming. Well, some people they smoke weed and they relax at home and they get the work done. I've never seen nobody get drunk and actually work. That doesn't work.
Right.
I've seen people smoke. It's right. But the drinking is
You've seen
not
productive
realistic.
people.
Right. And it's crazy because I used to condemn weed or marijuana until I went to St. Thomas for the first time to see my family.
Right.
And I'm seeing the entire island get up. First thing they do is let me roll me a joint. They roll a joint, go to work. They come home on lunch break, roll another joint. Now that's 5-6 dudes home by lunch.
Right.
Roll them a joint, go back to work.
And
come back home.
And that's when
right.
You kind of shifted. Okay, all right. Maybe it is a good thing.
I actually want to open up a dispensary. I don't want no parts of it.
I was just about to say.
But now it's like
I actually saw how lucrative.
Right.
The business
and functional. Like my whole thing is I never want to do anything with anyone to be detrimental to them.
Right.
So before, when I was younger, weed was condemned for my dad, for my mom, and they don't smoke and drink, but that was condemned. Being from where we come from, drinking was terrible. So it was kind of like I don't want to dibble and dabble. We were supposed to start a vodka company. Paul, before Paulie got down with the whole Yave tequila.
Yeah.
That was on the plans for Gragu Vodka.
Wow.
And I kind of fell back on it because I was like, alcohol has done nothing good for anybody around me. Right. Nothing. Right. So I'm like,
it was just hard for you to dive into something. I
couldn't do it. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't be. Even when I was party promoting, I would never. If anybody out there that knows me, they never see me push bottle service or any of that. Wow. I never did it. Wow. I don't care how much money we got back from the bar guarantee or how it helped us with the bar guarantee. I never pushed it because people drink, they drive, they get hurt. Shit happens. I don't want that on my soul. I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want that for nobody. So I just stay away from it.
It's funny because my sister, my momager, she doesn't drink or she doesn't smoke, so I can see how productive a person can be when they don't indulge.
It helps so much. Think about the money first of all. So if let's say we got $100 a week budget, that's $400 a month.
Right.
What I could do with $400 a month while you're spending it on alcohol or marijuana, I'm buying product.
Or not even so much marijuana, just drugs.
Anything.
Right.
I'm using that money into something or if I'm not doing that, I might be paying the bill. Right. It's helping me with rent or the car note that I need to look good for the image or whatever it is that I'm doing.
Right.
I'm using that money over here. Right. And then time-wise, it's just you out partying on a Friday night. You want to get a drink. I want to go out. I want to hang out. While you're doing that, I'm learning something else.
Right.
I'm learning to digitize for the embroidery machine. Or I might be learning to do this over there. So I'm taking all of those things that people take for advantage, and I'm using those for me. Everything was self-taught.
Right.
From digital videos, he probably know. When Fashion was doing all the videos, that was me behind the scenes doing all the editing. Right. When he was out there, I was doing the editing.
Even when you was doing the photography.
Right. I learned all of that stuff on my own, but that was the time that I was using.
Listen, I remember we'd be in the barbershop. You'll have the Apple laptop.
Yeah, that same one's over there. It's in the corner. It's in the corner of the cut.
This guy has been on it for years.
And Jazz was huge too. Yeah. That was another one after your mom coming out of college.
Jazz.
He was probably the first one I known of our age group. He might be a couple years older,
but still
having a barbershop, and I'm just sitting in there, just
see
like
how lucrative it is.
Yeah, and what can he do? How can he do it? Like, damn, he's kind of struggling this month. He told me that this dude didn't pay this. Okay, damn, Jazz. He could have did this. I wonder if he could have did that. What could he have did to make some more money? Like, I remember so many ideas crossing back and forth.
So would you say that Jazz was one of your first mentors? Shout out to Jazz too.
Yeah, word. Jazz, definitely. Like, I ain't have but so many mentors, but if I had to name one, it would be Jazz.
Right.
Another one would be my uncle.
Right.
I don't count them as mentors because that's his job as an uncle, but it definitely would be Jazz. Like, he was the first young black business owner, male, that had his own establishment that I knew.
So for all of our black and Latino people,
Right.
and all people, how important is a mentor?
Oh, it's I don't think you can do. I'm gonna stop that because there's a lot of people that have been successful without them.
Right.
Having one, it's nothing like it.
It's like having a cheat code.
Right, and I was about to say that because everything I've ever learned came from observation, right?
Right.
So everything I've ever done came from somebody else's failure.
Okay.
I would look at it and go, damn, he failed at that. Let me do this way. Damn, my pops didn't do that right. Let me do it this way. Or he had all of his money and he told me, oh, he could have did this when he was younger, but he didn't. Let me try it. Let me see what's going on. I did an interview with somebody who bought Apple stock. This may be about 2000 and I want to say 12. I did the interview. They bought it in the 80s.
In the 80s?
In the 80s, they had it. Cashed out at about $300,000, retired off of it back in 2010.
Oh, wow.
So, knowing that, I'm like, when I had a couple of dollars for my lawsuit when I was in college, I should do something there. Apple just dropped the other day.
Mm-hmm. It split.
It split. I threw, what, 12, 13,000 in.
Right.
Whole lot. Like, everything comes from, and I wouldn't have known that without having that meeting with those dudes back then.
Right.
So, everything comes from the
So I wasn't going to get into the stock thing, but I really love stocks and I'm passionate about it, and that's my thing. So, can you explain a little bit how the stock market can give you your freedom? Like, it's almost like another income while you're sleeping.
Right. So, like, it's crazy because shout out to Bossy.
Bossy B?
Yeah. I talk to him every day. He's back behind bars.
Yeah.
But he had a couple of dollars coming through and I told him, like, yo, you won't be home for another 3 years.
Right.
You don't need none of that. You need a couple of dollars every now and then. I'll take care of that. Take whatever you got, and throw it in Apple. And let it sit.
Right.
Like, if I put something in for $100, if I buy one thing for $100 today,
right,
and that goes up to $1.10, I made $10, right?
So look, even better. Apple split in 2014.
Right.
It went back down to, I think, 100 and something. At the time, it was $640. It went down to 100 and something dollars. Mm-hmm. It split again. It was just that $500. It split. It went back to $100. Mm-hmm. If you put 13,000, like you just said, or 10,000 into it, the amount of money that it's gonna times and multiply and compound from now to the next 6 years, not even 20 years, 6 years.
Right.
If it goes back up to $500, that's easily over $50,000 off of that 13,000.
Plus my 13 back.
Plus your 13
if I want to cash out everything and get.
And that's why I say the stock market is so important, and it's much better than just leaving your money in a bank.
Right. I mean, we all know we've all had savings accounts, most of us. What do you see on top of your savings accounts? $1 a year? Sometimes, if that.
You lose it. Like in interest.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything. So I'm looking at the stock market, me personally, I don't play it daily in and out, but I looked at that situation as a better savings plan. I mean, that's what they're doing with your 401k, but when it drops, they selling your 401k, oh, you don't have it no more, you lost $100.
Right.
I mean, technically, you don't lose anything unless you cash out.
So this is why I'm really glad that I came to talk to you, because you're well versed in a lot of different areas.
Right.
So I can't have this conversation with everybody, because everybody,
it doesn't happen often.
You know, they might know one industry, or they might feel, but you are a man of many trades and a man that indulged in different things, and that's what I respect about you the most, because you always try new things, and a lot of people are scared to do new things. So what I can give you from him is, don't be scared to be great. Don't be scared to try new things. Always try something new.
Right.
And I've seen you do that your whole business career.
People are scared to fail. Well, we know that.
Right.
And that's where it comes from. Like, where we actually come from, like, we start from failure. So most of the things my dad and my mom were taught was wrong.
Right.
And then they push it on me to tell me these things. And that's wrong. Right. Like, they don't tell me how to stack money, how to save, how to open a business. how to play the money game, long and short. They don't tell me any of that because they don't know. So they'll tell me, just keep it in the bank. Save something for a rainy day.
Right.
But what's a rainy day? A rainy day is when I got to go in the bank and pay a bill because I might have lost a job or whatever the case is.
So with our generation, we're teaching our kids generational wealth.
Right.
That's something different. Like my mom was one of the first business people that I know, and I absorbed a lot from her. But she never explained to me what generational wealth is. So generational wealth basically means that you as a parent or you as a mentor, you're leaving something for your heirs, for your children. So a trust fund, a custodial account. There's a lot of different things, and people don't understand, or people of our background, they don't understand or they don't know what those things are.
I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's selfishness. Like I have this conversation a lot of times, and I say, do you know that there's so many parents that don't want to see their children do better than them? So even while they're growing as adults, 40, 50, they're still reluctant on letting the child lead from what the child now has known. So what I like to do is everything I learn, I teach my daughter.
Right.
Because I'm not even just thinking about the money, I'm thinking about the skill base because that's how I make all the money. Right. So when I get the embroidery machine, my daughter was the first one, she's 9, she was the first one to call over here and say, did it come? Ma, did daddy get the embroidery machine?
Right.
Because I want to come over there, I want to see how does it work, I want to figure that out.
Right.
So that's a printing company for her at 15, 16 if she wants to.
Right.
I have the daycares. She's in here teaching little kids. She's in 4th grade, gifted and talented program. She coming here doing homework help. That's an after school program at 17, 18 if you want it. Like it's almost a difference because I'm not pushing. My dad pushed college on me.
Right.
You have to go to college. I'm not hearing none of that shit. You going because he didn't get the chance to. Did he know I was going to be stuck with a $110,000 loan?
Right.
No. Did he care? No. He did it just because he didn't get to do it, and he was taught that was the only way that you was going to be able to make money.
Right. So honestly, you can become a millionaire or a successful business person without even having to go to college.
Right.
College is just someplace where you gain experience, I feel.
Right.
You know, like we just talked about, going to college for us, it was more the experience of the things that we did outside of class than rather what we did actually in the class. Right. I mean, so, you know, college is very important, but...
I mean, if you're going to be a lawyer, doctor, a professor, teacher, those are the things you need college for because you can't actually get a job without these requirements or without these degrees. Right. For us as entrepreneurs, like, you don't need a degree to own anything. Right. Like, I'm a firm believer that, like, you don't need I could go open up a law firm right now. I could own a building. I could own a business without being a lawyer. All I have to do is hire the lawyers to come in here and split costs with me or work for me.
So did you graduate college?
Yeah, I graduated, but it was a waste. For me, it was a waste of money. I still owe them 110 now.
Right.
I'm $30 a month is what they get.
Right.
That's what y'all want. That's what y'all need. Y'all can keep that going until they do something with it, the forgiveness and all that. Yeah. Give me a little bit of that, and then we can talk about the balance. But it's a place where I definitely believe most kids should. Like now, they're saying that if your parents or whoever makes under 110, if you go to SUNY or CUNY, it's free. I push that all day. Like, if you can, go to a SUNY outside of the city. Right. Go away, get you some campus life, get you some dorm life, and learn a little bit. But you're not fought to build that I had before. So if you could do that without having to pay all this money and all this crazy, and that's why we push basketball and sports on the kids 24/7 because it's free. Right. We want you to go away, but we also want it to be financially not a financial burden on your parents. So if you can do that, you can bust your ass. Go. I don't care D3, D2, D1. I don't care about none of that. If you can go for free,
get a free education.
Get away from the hood for a little while. Get some clarity on what life is really like. Go out there, go do it, man. That's what college really is. But if you're not a teacher, doctor, lawyer, and you don't need it, you can make the money without it.
Right. It just depends on your skill set.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to teach my daughters. Like, y'all gonna go if y'all want to go. I'm not forcing y'all to go. If y'all want to go to college, Kelsey wants to play ball professionally. She wants to be a professional basketball player. Right. So if you want to go, you don't have a choice but to go through that, to go play in those channels. That's fine. If you decide from now to 18 to say, I don't want to do that anymore, I want to open up a business, I'm not really looking at college. Like, we're going straight off to the races.
Right. So what would you say Okay, so we're gonna make a little turn and go right real quick. What are some of the things that people can do to still be lucrative in the middle of this pandemic?